An important part of every character's moveset in Smash Bros. Is their recovery. Unfortunately for some, their recoveries may lack the speed or distance necessary to safely survive being knocked off the stage. Today, I want to talk about what I think are some of the worst recoveries in the history of the Smash series. To make things more interesting, I chose 2 characters from each game, and I didn't use the same character twice. If a character has had a bad recovery in more than one game, I picked whichever version I thought was worse overall. Starting off as Ness from Smash 64. As most probably know, the objective of this recovery is to circle the PK Thunder back to Ness to launch him in one of many possible directions. If performed successfully, it actually goes a very long distance. The problem with this move lies in how slow PK Thunder travels in this game, leaving Ness wide open for attack. There are a variety of ways for Ness to be easily ganked during this move. The opponent could destroy the PK Thunder with a projectile or by colliding with it themselves, or they could just attack Ness himself. They could also let you use the move and wait for Ness to land, and then launch you right back off the stage. No matter how you slice it, this recovery isn't good. Next up is Dr. Mario from Melee. The main issue with this recovery is how predictable it is. There isn't a whole lot you can do to mix up your strategy to survive, aside from his cape or tornado attacks, which still don't help very much. It also doesn't go a very long distance whatsoever, so one good hit off stage is all it'll take to secure your doom. Not to mention, it's a fairly easy move to edgehog. Speaking of edgehogging, Ivysaur's recovery from Brawl is one of the biggest piles of crap you'll see, all thanks to such a simple exploit. This Pokemon has a tether recovery, where he throws out a whip to attach to the edge. But as long as someone's hanging on that edge, there's not a single thing Ivysaur can do to get his grass-type ass back to the stage. It's truly terrible, and makes this recovery one of the most easily exploitable in Smash history. Now let's talk about one I'm sure everyone expected, Little Mac, specifically from Smash 4. Little Mac has 2 options for his recovery, his side special, which is horizontal, or up special, which is vertical. You only get one choice though, as both will put Mac into a free fall. The main problem here is that these moves go a very short distance, and are so incredibly predictable, making Mac an easy target for ganks. And all it'll take is one hit off stage and Mac is as good as dead. His recovery was somewhat improved in Ultimate, since he can now use his forward special into his up special, but the predictability still remains, meaning his recovery is slightly better, but still kind of garbage. When it comes to Ultimate, Incineroar is an easy one to pick apart. His recovery actually goes a fairly long vertical distance, but after rising up, he then dives diagonally downward, and if you aren't close enough to the edge, he'll be nosediving right past it, straight to his demise. However, Incineroar is able to get a small boost forward from his forward special, although it's a simple move to just swat away. The main flaw here is when trying to recover from below the stage, or even level with it. He just doesn't get enough horizontal distance, so if you're not recovering above the ledge, you can most likely kiss your fiery ass goodbye. Now let's loop back to Smash 64 and talk about Link. When I was going back to play these games to make this list, I was actually shocked at how bad this recovery is. Was it always this bad? Link's recovery gives him very small vertical and horizontal distance, and that's it. He drops like a rock as if he has bricks tied to his ankles. I can't even think of a plus side to this move. It's just plain awful. I mean, it's so bad you don't even have to worry about edge guarding Link. If he's far enough away, and trust me, that isn't very far, he'll just die naturally. Jumping back into Melee, Bowser's recovery is by far the worst in the game, and there's truly no contest. Basically, it has piss poor vertical distance, meaning that your only hope of surviving is going above the ledge. This makes it very predictable, meaning it's easy to guard against. So really, once you're off stage, you're completely screwed. There's just no getting back with a recovery so pathetic while playing as such a huge, heavy target. Now we're back to Brawl, and guess what? It's another tether recovery. Olimar's issues are essentially the same as Ivysaur's. However, there is one key difference. When Olimar has a full set of 6 Pikmin, his tether reaches its farthest, but the less Pikmin you have, the shorter distance it'll go, directly affecting his survivability, making it potentially worse than Ivysaur's. Basically, it's still garbage, and I'm stunned at how insanely simple it is to gank these characters just by edge-hogging. You don't even need really good timing for it. Just grab the edge, wait, and boom, they're dead. This next one was inevitable. Ganondorf from Smash 4 has a terrible recovery for simple reasons. Like many others I've talked about, it's just too predictable. There's no way to alter his trajectory, so all you have to do is keep enough distance and whack Ganon away from the edge. And his aerial speed doesn't help matters. He's very heavy and slow, so you may not even have to edge guard for him to die, since his recovery doesn't give him much horizontal distance at all. There's just nothing good to say about this one. The final one I want to talk about is the Belmonts from Ultimate. Their recovery goes a very short distance and, like many others here, is predictable, and when combined with the Belmont's slow speed, well, it makes matters even worse. Luckily, they do have the option to use a tether recovery by swinging their whips towards the edge, but all it really takes is one good hit off stage and they'll be on their way to meeting their pitiful end.